When Stephen Curry went down with a hamstring injury in Game 1 of the Golden State Warriors playoff matchup against the Minnesota Timberwolves, the situation seemed manageable at first. The Warriors were up 1-0, and with Jimmy Butler now on the roster, acquired through a midseason trade with the Miami Heat, the belief was that the team could hold the line until Curry returned. After all, Butler was a proven postseason performer with the kind of mentality that could carry a team through tough stretches. But as the series progressed, the Warriors' expectations quickly began to unravel. Instead of rising to the occasion, Butler struggled, and his presence failed to ignite the Warriors' offense as anticipated. Golden State dropped 4 straight games, and the Timberwolves dispatched them in 5, sending the Warriors home early. What went wrong? In a candid interview, Carmelo Anthony reflected on what happened to Butler, a player who, at his best, was capable of carrying teams on his back in the postseason. Anthony provided insight into why Butler, despite his remarkable regular season contributions, couldn't elevate the Warriors when Curry's absence created an opening for someone to step up. Carmelo's take: the difference in experience. Anthony didn't mince words when explaining why Butler fell short in this particular situation. According to Melo, it wasn't just a matter of individual performance, it was about the unique pressure of stepping into a system as complex and ingrained as the Warriors, a system built around Curry's unparalleled style of play. When you first get to the team, you have this level of excitement and adrenaline, Anthony explained. Everybody's hyped, and everything's going. But when the dust settles, and now we've got to make a playoff run, the excitement's there, but you don't know how Steph Curry operates at that level. So when Steph starts digging deeper into that well, pulling out all his tricks, all his magic, and you don't have that experience of seeing it, of feeling it, of being part of it, it's tough. The deeper you get into the playoffs, the more you realize that there's a level of mental toughness and experience that Curry has that Jimmy just wasn't ready for. When Butler was traded to Golden State, the excitement was palpable. The Warriors, after all, were already a playoff caliber team. Butler's presence seemed like the perfect complement to Curry, a dynamic two-way player who could slide into the role of a secondary scorer and lockdown defender. The Warriors finished the regular season strong with a 23-8 record following the acquisition of Butler at the trade deadline, setting up an intriguing playoff run. Despite their placement as a 7th seed, Golden State was positioned to make noise in the West. They even managed to pull off a significant upset over the 2nd-seeded Houston Rockets in Round 1, and they came into the Timberwolves series with momentum after stealing Game 1 on the road, 99-88. Anthony, who has seen his fair share of playoff battles, acknowledged that the team's window for success was tighter than it seemed. The time period was short, I'll give them that, Melo said. They made a hell of a move. They tried. If Steph doesn't get hurt, we might still be talking about them differently. We've seen Jimmy at the peak of what he can do, his will to win, his talent. You have to figure out how to fit in. And that's not Jimmy's style. Jimmy doesn't shoot threes like Curry does. He's not a player who moves off the ball in the same way. That's a tough transition. Some critics, including Butler's former teammate, Udonis Haslem, later suggested that the playoff Jimmy narrative was misleading. Jimmy, for all his postseason heroics in previous years with the Miami Heat, simply couldn't replicate that same level of dominance with Golden State. The Warriors system and the absence of Curry revealed gaps in Butler's ability to adapt to a team-first style of play that is the hallmark of the Warriors dynasty. Anthony's perspective was clear. The Warriors were just a different beast, and without Curry, Butler was never going to be able to match what was needed. You have to find your way, but Jimmy didn't have the luxury of finding that rhythm with Steph beside him, Melo concluded. While Butler's postseason struggles might not define his career, they certainly served as a reminder of how the right system and experience can make all the difference when the stakes are the highest. And for Jimmy Butler, the experience of being part of Golden State's playoff run in Curry's absence was one that exposed the complexity of fitting into a championship-caliber squad. The Warriors, once a dynasty driven by one of the game's greatest, found that the gap between the playoff Jimmy and a playoff-tested Warriors team was wider than anyone expected.